Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's get into the Sunday action as we close out the divisional round. We have two games starting at 3 o'clock Eastern. The first will be the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Los Angeles Rams. There's going to be a heavy forecast of snow in this game. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts in both of these contests as well as my best bets and get you guys on your way. If you're new to the channel though, this is a perfect opportunity to do so. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to give a follow on X. The handle is in the bottom left of your screen. Also, we do have a free Discord. You guys are all welcome on that platform where we were giving out some zingers yesterday with a lot of open action today. If you guys are on the Discord, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we are big Mark Andrews fans today on the channel. Let's just put it that way. All right. With that being said, let's get into it. We are going to use Outlier to get into the picks. Full disclosure, there is a 7-day free trial if you guys want to get started betting with Outlier. All it is basically insights, data, and the trends and finding the best number available because even in a game like last night within the Detroit and the Washington Commanders, the point spread really didn't matter to an extent, but that's something where you don't want to overpay for a bet. So that's kind of why I use Outlier. If you were a Kansas City backer, the hook really did matter. Some people had 9, some people had 9.5, some people had 8.5. Okay, so it all is relevant. Make sure you guys are shopping around, getting the best numbers available. Okay, but let's get into this game. I want to talk a little bit about some of the insights. And we are going to look into the first game on the slate, but let's look into the team insights. And this doesn't really matter. I think it gets thrown out the window as we get into the postseason deeper. But the over within Buffalo, that is something as 12 in the last 16 games as a favorite. Baltimore's also covered 9 of their last 12 on the road. The Bills also 18 of their last 21 games. They have won on the money line. And this is kind of where we're going to segue into the Rams-Eagles. The first game we're going to be talking about, the Rams are 6 out of their last 18, a 33% clip as an underdog. Okay, so you can see the Philadelphia money line looking very appealing. Also, the Eagles, 80% of the time, ATS in their last 10 games, they have covered the number, okay? So let's talk about this game, all right? So the first thing I want to bring up to you guys, and this is the most important as we look at the odds board, okay? We're going to look at the number, okay? A lot of people probably have teasers still alive, taking the Philadelphia Eagles down to essentially a pick 'em within coupling it with the Chiefs yesterday. A lot of people have been making some cross league teasers, taking the Buckeyes down with the Chiefs, with the Eagles. This is a game where, I got to tell you guys, it's going to be very hard to beat the Philadelphia Eagles here at home in a divisional setting with snow. The forecast right now is looking very ugly. It's going to be cold. We are looking for potentially, I'm hearing 4 to 6 inches of snow. If any of you guys are in the Philadelphia neighborhoods watching this video, make sure you leave a comment. I want to know how much snow is actually hitting the ground, okay? But let's look into this, and I will tell you guys that I am on the Eagles. 6.5 is a big number. I don't really think it's going to matter. I think this is going to be a lower scoring contest as well. And the reason why I kind of feel this way is because Stafford, he has never played a game in a playoff atmosphere in the snow. Okay, Super Bowls have always been in domes. Playing in SoFi Stadium, out with the Rams, Ford Field with the Lions. Very little playoff exposure with the Lions, but when he did play, he never really had this January cold game outdoors. That's something I think that does play a role. As we all know, Matthew Stafford, Georgia Bulldog, likes to weather down south, and I do think this is a conversation to be had that the weather may play a role in this handicap, okay? That's kind of where you're looking at the money line. 70% of the bets ATS actually are on the Eagles. Money line wise, it's pretty much split. There's really no clear way to look at this in terms of an edge within the handle. Also, there is a little bit more so of the money on the over. But like I told you guys, right now you can find juiced up under 43s. That's kind of where I'm at. I do like the under in this contest. I think it's going to be a low-scoring fair. Also, I do favor the Eagles quite a bit, okay? So this is something where they did play in late November, okay? Saquon Barkley had 255 yards on the ground. Outstanding performance by Saquon. A lot of people will be betting Saquon. We'll get into the prop numbers here very shortly. But the Rams in this contest, okay, they Philadelphia won 37-20 in that November game. I don't think we get that. I don't think we're going to get that high scoring affair. That's just me. The weather, I think, does have an impact. So let's look into the numbers here in terms of what bets we're going to be making. Okay. And first and foremost, we are going to look into the Saquon numbers, okay? You can see kind of here where we're looking at the last 5 games for Saquon in terms of receiving yards going under the 11.5. He has not got it done out of the backfield. We do like Saquon quite a bit receiving, but it's one where it just has not been cashing, okay? The touchdown number for Saquon is a little bit out of hand, if you do ask me. He has hit this a lot this season, but when we look at this guy's minus 137 on Prize Picks, DraftKings, you can find minus 155. A little bit too juiced up for me, but hey, it is Saquon. It is a snow game. I do think that he's going to get his way running the football, and that's where it's going to lead me to my best Saquon Barkley bet of the afternoon. This will be in rush yards, okay? I know the number's set at a very high clip, okay? Right now, if you want to find the actual number, okay, that's where we're going to be finding over 109.5. That's a number where I hate to say it, but I have no problem laying this number. I think he gets it. He does look into the 255-yard scamper he had against the Rams November 24th. I'm not going to say he's going to get 255, but I do think he gets over the 110. I think they're going to rely heavily on the rushing attack, and that's going to be kind of where it leads me to my next bet, wherein we take Saquon. Now it's at 22.5, so it's almost unbettable. You could have got 21.5. And that's kind of where that number is non-existent. However, BetMGM still is offering at minus 105 and FanDuel minus 120. So that's why it's important to shop around. Find the best number, find the best odds, find the book that does offer it. You have to shop around. And that's where I will be taking Saquon over 21.5. I think he gets it done on the ground very, very easily. Okay. Next, I do want to share some talk about a running back that is not really talked about a lot, okay, and this is going to be Kenneth Gainwell, okay. Kenneth Gainwell, if we find him here on the board, okay, 9.5 rushing yards, going over that for Gainwell. I think in a game script where they do run the football, a little bit of a sneaky play, but I do think that he has hit this in 5 of his last 6 games. And then against the matchup that we did see LA twice this season, twice dating back in 2 previous seasons, 17 and 22 yards respectively. So I do like Kenneth Gainwell going over 9.5. That is one of my best bets on the channel as well. Okay. Outside of that, guys, I'm staying away from the passing stuff. I think the weather is going to be ill-advised to back any receiving yards, in my personal opinion. We don't have to just bet things because there's a game on TV. Okay. And also, if we do want to talk about that a little bit more so in its entirety, I think there is a kind of comment to be made about the A.J. Brown health status. A.J. Brown, take him under if you were going to bet any receiving. I could find it here for you guys and show you the number if you give me 1 second. Okay, A.J. Brown, we're going to pull him up, and you can see this right now. He's failed to exceed 68.5 in 5 of his last 6 games. He has went under the number. This is where I do like him going under. 68.5 is a lot of yards. I think there's some injury concerns, and if we look at that head-to-head, okay, I know that he had 127, 109 the last 2 matchups against L.A., but it's just not the same A.J. Brown. He's healthy. He's not healthy. There's some controversy, bickering on the sidelines about touches. I just don't like A.J. Brown in this contest, so this would be a fade spot for me going under if I was going to play any receiving, receptions, all that good stuff. All right, next, I do want to get into the Buffalo game a little bit. This is a game that I think is my favorite game of the weekend. I think you guys would all have that same sentiment. In Buffalo right now is plus 1.5. This number has seen a lot of movement both ways. Baltimore seems to be the sharper side if you want to follow the money, but the under as well at 51.5. Another weather game as well, playing outside in Buffalo. It's cut and dry, plain and simple for me, guys. All right. I have one rule, and I will live and die by it. If I lose my bet, I lose my bet. But I do not bet against Josh Allen in the snow. So I'll be taking the Buffalo Bills here. Not sure if I'm going to play the money line or take the plus 1.5, but I do have a couple teaser legs still alive, taking Buffalo up to that plus 7.5 number. If you bet it early, you could even have got an 8.5 in a teaser. So that's something where I do look for Buffalo to play very well at home. And there is a little bit of thing to be said about Josh Allen in this MVP snub and how that all transpired. He gets to go against Lamar, so we get to see it prime time, 6:30 kickoff, and let's talk about the actual numbers if we are going to be betting some props, okay? First and foremost, my favorite bet of the day is Josh Allen, okay? He has not thrown any interceptions. If you do want to go Josh Allen under, you could take that right now. His playoff numbers are absolutely impeccable. But on the course of the season, if we look at this in 2024, he's only thrown interceptions in 5 games out of 18. So right now, guys, that is a very strong play, under half interception, minus 105. Also, the number that I do like the most within Josh Allen, this would be along the lines of rushing, okay? In the playoffs, he does rush exceedingly more, in my opinion, okay? And right now, you can find this at 48.5 at minus 115. You could actually even go 47.5, take that over, minus 110 on FanDuel. That will be my best bet for Josh Allen. I think he gets this one done on the ground. This was a weekend where I did like all quarterbacks rushing yards, okay? With the exception of the two that don't really run the ball. That would be Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. I would go over pretty much with every other rushing quarterback that we had going, okay? And that's kind of where I'm at. I love the Josh Allen rushing number. I'm kind of shocked that it's still at where it's at. And for my money, guys, this is where we are going to be betting Josh Allen over his rushing yards, okay? Also, if we want to talk about the flip side of this, okay, this would be into the Lamar conversation, okay? So I'm going to pull up Lamar here because Lamar is another quarterback that obviously can run the football exceptionally well, all right? And this is kind of where we're going to go into his rushing lines and look at this, okay? So rush yards for Lamar on 2024. He's hit this in 5 of his last 6 games. He's starting to run the football quite a bit. 80 yards is something that's available. It's an option. I think he does get over 50.5. Right now, 49.5 is juiced up, but 50.5 is the number, minus 112. It's going to be cold. I think there's going to be a lot of running, less throwing, a lot of running for Henry, a lot of running for Lamar. Buffalo's going to load the box, but I do think this will open up a lot of running lanes for the quarterback. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, so he had 60 yards in 5 of his last 6 weeks. This is a number that I think that if we do get it under 50 or right around 50, I think it's bettable. And this is something where you look into kind of the playoff numbers, right? He's been over this number in pretty much every career playoff game that he's ever appeared in. So that's kind of where I'm at. Also, if we look at kind of the Bills handling the running quarterbacks, you could talk about kind of the rushing style quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Lamar even, and Bo Nix. Okay, all 3 of those quarterbacks did exceed 50 rushing yards. So love me some Lamar, and that's kind of where I'm at. That's where my head's at to go alongside the Buffalo Bills winning this contest, taking them up in a teaser. I'm not shy of a Buffalo-Philadelphia teaser as well. I think that's kind of the smart play, in my opinion. You get Buffalo plus 7.5, as well as you do get Philadelphia essentially on the money line if you do take that 2-leg teaser, okay? And then that'll lead me to my last conversation, okay? And this is where we're going to be talking about Mark Andrews, okay? And right now, guys, we need it big, right? We need the Mark Andrews touchdown, anytime touchdown. He was blank last week. Right now, if you look at the season, he's hit this in 10 of his last 18 games. He hit it for 6 straight games until this last contest against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But now as we look into kind of Buffalo against the tight end position, 19th in touchdowns against in terms of receiving, but against tight ends, 10th in the NFL. So we got our work cut out for us, but we need a Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. For those of you that are on the Discord and you did tail that play, let's go. Let's root for it. I'm not going to hedge it. I'm looking into it, trying to find a way to play the under, but right now it's getting kind of out of hand. I think DraftKings is the only one that you can play the under. I think I saw it at minus 185. So for me and what I have out there, I probably would have to lay a big chunk of change on the under, and I'm not quite sure I want to throw that away for what my wager was on that 60-1 parlay. So that's what I got. It's going to be a fun Sunday. Those are my best bets. I'm not going to gotta go crazy. Like I said, guys, this is something where last night was a prime example. Okay, just because the Washington-Detroit game was on television doesn't mean that you have to bet it, right? I think a lot of people just took the Lions to take the Lions, and we were on the side of the Commanders. It's just too many points, but kind of where my head was at, especially with the Kansas City-Houston game. I didn't like the number at all. I told you guys that, but I did take Kansas City down in a teaser. Coupled that with the Buckeyes tomorrow, as well as I took the Bills up from +1.5 to +7.5. So that's kind of where my head's at. Those are my picks, my best bets. I know it's not crazy, it's not fancy, it's not sexy, but those are a handful of picks that I did give out that I do feel have an exceeding chance of cashing in today's two contests. So with that, I'll leave you guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. Let's cash some tickets. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We will have the College Football National Championship breakdown here on the channel. Make sure you have that notification bell turned on. Smash that like button, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Cheers.